Friends, I am happy to welcome you to my talk show. Today, I wish to focus on NIRF rankings 2025 and the lessons to learn. It's a matter of satisfaction that the National Institutional Ranking Framework has completed a decade of its existence, having been started in September 2015. It has completed its work with the declaration of its first edition of rankings in 2016. The latest edition, that is 2025, has been released on September 4, 2025. While it is appreciable that the ranking framework has matured into a comprehensive and data-driven evaluation system, similar exercise is also being done by other agencies like NAC and NBA. And in addition, All India Survey on Higher Education is also compiling data for the past decade, and it is not clear as to why so many national level bodies are involved in carrying out the similar job. Maybe keeping in this view, the National Education Policy 2020 has proposed to create a single data platform in the name of One Nation, One Data. It is hoped that these issues would be sorted out at the earliest. The primary aim of this talk show is to highlight a few of the significant aspects that are connected to ranking. First, I wish to focus on the 2025 rankings in terms of the number of higher educational institutions that are covered under these rankings. And the NIRF has listed about 14,163, which included universities, colleges, and other standalone outfits. Against this, there are about 58,643 higher educational institutions in this country for which data is collected by the All India Survey on Higher Education. Therefore, the coverage of NIRF is just working out to be about 24.2%, in spite of the fact that the ranking framework has laid down a criterion to be eligible to participate in the rankings. It is not crossing even 30%. It is thus high time to ponder over as to how the reach can be enhanced so that every higher educational institution in the country is made an integral part of the ranking process. Further, the NIRF is choosing to declare ranks up to a specific number and leaving others in dark as to their standing in the network of institutions. For instance, NIRF declared up to 200 ranks only in the case of universities and up to only 300 in case of colleges, as against a vast number of participating institutions in this 2025 rankings. The new development in this regard is that it has chosen to communicate the scorecard to every institution now individually, but the rank is not indicated. Therefore, it is logical to expect that every participating institution has the right to know its position, even then it secures the last rank. Friends, I wish to focus on the ranking agencies and its diversification in the methodology. And in fact, the NIRF is covering 17 categories of institutions, which include 8 subject areas also. Keeping in view of the changing dimensions, it has also attempted to cover skill universities, open universities, innovation institutes, and institutes that focus on the realization of sustainable development goals. The number of institutions covered under the above new categories are very small, and efforts need to be made to enhance the canvas. In the category of subject domain also, the coverage is very limited. For one thing, the NIRF feels happy for creating greater awareness on the part of the higher educational institutions in the country and making them to be conscious of improving their quality of education. It is true that the number of higher educational institutions from India have swelled from just one in the academic ranking of world universities in 2015 to 15 in 2025. Similarly, the world rankings have also jumped significantly from 14 to 54 in QS rankings and from 17 to 128 in the Times Higher Education rankings over a period from 2015 to 2026. It is about the ranking methodology followed by the agency. There are many questions that are asked by the participants. The ranking framework comprises of 19 parameters organized into 5 broad groups, which included teaching, learning and resources as the first one, and research and professional practice as the second one, graduation outcomes as the third one, outreach and inclusivity as the fourth one, and perception as the fifth one. Against these broad parameters only, the ranking is being done by the NIRF. If we take into consideration the first aspect relating to the teaching, learning and resources, 3 major aspects are covered by the NIRF, which included the quality of faculty, their experience and the faculty-student ratio. Regarding the quality dimension of the faculty, it is highlighted that the faculty with the PhDs are only about 58.56%, and their average experience with less than 8 years is significant at 34.17%. As a matter of fact, many universities and colleges are carrying on the teaching learning process with a substantial number of contract, ad hoc and guest faculty whose tenure is extended year after year, impacting the quality of higher education. Friends, unfortunately, the faculty-student ratio is very high and extending beyond the norms as prescribed by the University Grants Commission, and it stands at more than 1:20. So about 62% of the higher educational institutions of the country have faculty-student ratios above the limits specified by either the UGC or the AICTE. In terms of the second parameter, pertaining to the research and professional practice, judged from the point of view of publications and citations, the performance of the participating institutions is very dismal. The productivity in terms of publication of research papers is just 1.76 per faculty in the overall category and also in the category of colleges. It is only in the context of universities that the per faculty productivity is standing at about 7.71. As per the norms of accrediting agencies, anything below 2 per year per faculty doesn't secure any points in the accreditation. The astonishing fact is that there are higher educational institutions with 0 publications. In the overall category, 136 out of 1757 and 573 out of 1821 in case of colleges, and 530 out of 909 institutions in the category of management do not have any publications. And this shows the very grim position of the faculty and also the quality of the research and professional practice that is prevailing in the institutions that are participating in the NIRF rankings. During 1950s, if we can go into the retrospect, India was a leading nation in the context of international research publications that are worth mentioning, producing about a quarter of the world's productivity. Though claimed to have scaled to 3rd position from 7th in this regard, the percentage contribution is not above 7 to 8%. In terms of citations too, the position is very weak. The average citations per paper are noted as 8.71, which doesn't qualify for any marks in the accreditation or in the evaluation. A comparison of the same at the global level only indicates that India's position is unenvious at only 13.44 against 33.36, and even the H index is low at 925 against 3213 for the country like United States. These issues need to be noted while deliberating upon the NIRF and its rankings. In terms of graduation outcomes also, the number of faculty showing interest to register for PhD and completing the same in the prescribed period is rare. The percentage of faculty registering for pursuing research is less than 10, owing to the fact that the higher education sector in India is engulfed by the recruitment of part-time and contingent faculty. It is heartening to note that the enrollments are happening from outside the state also, but the students from the countries outside India are almost negligible. It may be noted that the COVID-19 had a deleterious effect on this kind of a situation, and there had been a phenomenal increase in the flow of even African countries. It would be in the fitness of things to focus our attention on the Asian and European countries for the present. The final parameter having impact on the rankings about the perception of peers and also the peer reviews. It is gratifying that this is taken as the most invaluable parameter for judging the performance of higher educational institutions in India. But unfortunately, the institutions of the country have no proper connect either with the alumni or with the recruiters. Usually, an email or a mobile survey is conducted to elicit the opinions of the stakeholders in this regard. In the Indian context, these are always a dump squib. One gets no reply or a reply worth nothing. So, in this kind of a situation, the phenomenon requires a total overhaul in an attempt to convince the stakeholders as to how significant it would be to participate in these surveys and share their genuine opinion. Above all, there is yet another significant issue of inconsistencies reigning in the data sets filed by the participating institutions. There is an element of dishonesty being reported in the submission of data, leading to higher rankings in the NIRF and lower grades in the NAC and NBA. It has been brought to the news time and again that higher ranks in NIRF are not supported by the similar standing in other accreditations. Of late, a public interest litigation is raised against the NIRF, stating that the rankings are declared based on the unverified and self-reported data sets. In response to this, the National Institutional Ranking Framework has attempted to recheck the data submitted by the institutions and finally declared the 2025 rankings. This episode brings to the fore the fact that not everything is alright with the ranking process. It is hoped that this would be looked into seriously in the next ranking exercise, lest this should go obviated when there is only one ranking or grading agency taking care of the entire process as per the reforms envisaged in the National Education Policy 2020. Thank you.